feature of a good program design, right? So from now on, whenever you use any program in the pseudocode or flowchart, I expect you to do something here, right? The first one, you use a declaration, right? For the variable or constant you use for prompt, meaningful prompt here, right? So whenever you want to get input from user, you use the prompt here. You use for indentation, correct indentation, right? Indentation, you use for meaningful output text here, right? I expect you include all these things in your pseudocode or your flowchart here. Now we learn about some feature of good program design here. The first step, they recommend you use the program comment here. Right? So remember that when you put the program comment, it's really helpful for the programmer or you or the other guy follow the work here, but have no benefit to the computer, because from the computer point of view, when it execute, it ignore everything about the comment. Right? So think about if you look into my Python here. So I have this one or I delete this one here. It doesn't matter. I run it the same, because when the program execute, it will ignore everything about the comment. So basically, the comment only helpful for the programmer only, for the you to follow what's going on with the program. Make sense? But whenever you do any program here, they strongly recommend you to put the comment here if you have the complicated program, right? You have the sum of the header comment. Think about header comment here. You can put what is the purpose of the program, right? Think about you can put it, what is the purpose of your program, and also you have inline comment also. Inline comment that it helps step by step, right? So from now on, if you work with the pseudocode or flowchart, I expect you to do at least with the header comment to tell what is the purpose of your program, right? Think about if you look into the program here, right? If you look here, that is a process I work with pseudocode here. Right? So basically in pseudocode, if you want to put some command here, you use a double slash, right? So tell user program keep asking user enter number and print out the double number and process when user enter number. Make sense? Okay, it's really helpful to tell you what is the purpose of the program. It's really helpful to tell you what's going on with your program. Okay, so that's the first step. Right? They recommend you use the program comment where appropriate here. Identify should be true carefully. Identify that means variable name. Right? Of course, you can use X and Y or Z here, but it not make much sense here, right? So instead of X and Y and Z here, you use a variable name. So monthly income or hour rate or so on here. Make more sense, right? Try to design clear statement within your program and module, right? Clear prompt and echo input here. So what is echo input? Later on, I explain it later, right? All right, the clear program and echo input, and continue to maintain good programming habits as you develop your programming skill. Right? Okay, so I think I go with some of the definition here. Now, the first one, when you're using the programming command here, it's written explanation of programming statement is not part of programming logic. That I mentioned that. When you execute it, the computer ignore every command, right? It only helpful for the programmer only. And serve as the internal documentation for the programming. You have to syntax use a differ among the programming language. So if you work with a C or C++ or Python, you have to deeply understand about the syntax of them. They are not the same, right? Okay. And also for the flowchart, you use the annotation symbol to hold information. It depends on what stored within the another flowchart symbol here. Now, some of the example of the command here, you use double slash here, right? So this is a case of inline command. You tell that square feet here is an estimate. You tell the user, right? Tell the programmer here, and so on. You can use the inline logic here. Think about in the case you work with the flowchart, you can use it. It is a command here. Okay. Identifier. You should use a meaningful and you should use a meaningful variable here. Give variable or constant the name that is a noun. Right? Give a module or identifies the verb because that's the action. Right? Okay. You have some. Now avoid digit in the name, right? You avoid digit in the name here. What is it? So Now I think I sum something here. Now sometimes you should work with the temporary variable here. Now think about this one. Think about this one here, right? So if you look on the first one here, you look for the on the first program here. Sorry, the first code here, right? So basically that's the process. You figure out what is the sale commission. What is sale commission here? Think about I have original price here, 100, right? I have original price here is 100, and for each of the price, I have the 10% discount. That is 10% discount. And for the sale, right? For the seller here, he get 5% from the commission here. So what is it? The first step I have to figure out, right? I have to figure out this is price after discount, right? Price after discount here. So I think I have the 100 here and 10% of discount. That means I minus to 10. So I have 90 here. It is the price after discount here, right? And of course, I got the 5% from commission from the 90 here. So I have 90, I time it to the 5% here. I have the 4.5 here. Right? So of course I can do everything in one command here. Is that okay? I see. You have original price minus original price times discount rate. Actually, that is a discount amount here. Make sense? That's a discount amount. Make sense? So think about you have 100 here and 10% discount. So basically you have the 10 in the discount amount here, right? And of course you have original price, you minus for the discount amount, you have the price after discount here, right? So we have 90 here. And of course after that you time it to the 5% of the commission rate here, you figure it out, it is a over value. But they do not recommend it. Sometimes you have to use a temporary variable here. That means you break it down, right? You can use a multiple statement here to compute the commission here. So see, I use another variable here. Discount price here, right? So what is discount price? Discount price, I have the original price times discount rate here, right? Discount rate here. So that is a discount price, right? And of course, I have the sale price here. It's original price minus discount price here, right? And of course, the Latin here. I have the sale commission here. I got it from sale price times commission rate here. So if you look on for the first one and the second one, they deliver the same output. Right? So they deliver simple. But the second one, it looks way better for you to follow, right? You know that's the first step. You have to find out what is the discount price here. Right? The second step here, you have to figure it out what is the sale price here. And last step here, you know that you can figure out the sale commission from sale price times commission rate here. Make sense? This one, they deliver the same output. The first one and the second one here, but the second one is way better. It's way easier for you to follow what's going on. Make sense? That's why this one here and this one here, they are temporary variable. They help you in the case you want to break it down to complicated computation here into the smaller one. Make sense? Okay. Now sometimes you can use for the you should use a clear prompt and the echo input here, right? Echoing input prompt I mentioned already, right? So with that you tell the user what they are supposed to do here. Right? The prompt they are message display on the monitor to ask user for response. I think about please enter your name, please enter your monthly income, and so on here. Make more sense than user, right? And use both in the command line and graphic user here. Now, what is the echoing input? Echoing or echoing? I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. Echoing or echoing? Echoing. Okay. Now, for the echoing input, that is process you repeating input back to the end user, either in the subsequent prompt or in the output here. Now, you look on the, if you look in my program here, right? If you look in my program here, so if you look in my program here, so the first step, right? If you look in my program in the Python here, so what is it? The first step, think about I put David here. Now, so when I got the name is David, I can use that name in the subsequent statement here, right? Something this one here. Hi, instead of hi here, I put hi David. Please enter the length of rectangle. And hi David, please enter the width of rectangle. Also, right? I have area of rectangle with the length of. I got it from the input here. I got it from the input here, right? I got it from input here. So I can use the echoing input in the subsequent statement or in the output here. Now, if you see my program here, right? If you see my program here, you can see it really about how can I use the echoing here. Now think about this one, right? I enter the here David. Right? So the length 20 and the width here 10, and you can see here. I use the echoing input here in the output. In the see. David here, actually I got it from name, right? I got it from name. So if I enter David, it show up David. If I enter Jack, it show up here, Jack here, and so on here, right? That is the case. I use the part echoing here in the subsequent statement or in the output here, right? So you see the area rectangle with the length 20 here. I got it from here, right? And with 10 here, I got it from here. It would make more sense for the end user, right? So see, show up the name and show up the area of rectangle with specific length and specific width here. Make sense? That's the way you work with the echoing input here. So basically, you can do the same process. You can do the same process when you work with the pseudocode or flowchart. Think about this one, right? Yeah, right. I get it. Must be something here. Yeah, right. So see this one here. Now you see, if I work with the pseudocode here, you look on this one. I get the name here, right? The first step here, I get the name here. Now, please enter balance due for. I use the name here from this one, right? So if I put the David here, if the user put the David here, he tell please enter balance due for David here, right? And if I put Jack here, the user enter Jack here, it please enter balance due for Jack here. It would make more sense for the end user here, right? Make sense? Okay. So basically, you can use this one in the pseudocode here, and that is a pseudocode. Or you can use this one in the flowchart here also. You've got the name here, right? And now you can use it in the prompt of the next statement here, right? The name here, because the name you already got it from the end user. Make sense? Okay. Okay, so that is the way you work with the echoing input, right? That is the process you repeating input back to the user either in the subsequent prompt or in the output here. So you see, in my process here, that is a subsequent prompt, right? This is a subsequent prompt here. I use the name here, and that is a process I use in the output here. Okay. Yes, of course, for every time I expect that you do with the clear prompt here, right? You only have to tell user what they are supposed to do here. So instead of getting input and name here, you can break it down here, right? You tell user, please enter customer name and store it in the variable name here. Please enter balance due and store it in the balance here. Instead of using input and name only and balance only, you use the prompt. Make sense? Okay. And you use the echoing input here also, right? Yes, you should maintaining the good programming habit here. Every program you write will be better if you plan before code. So basically, all the program you learn so far is very simple. You don't see much benefit in the planning, but actually, if you have the project or you have a lot of work, for sure, you have to plan it here, right? Maintain the habit of first drawing the flowchart or writing pseudocode, and that check you have to list up the thing to check if the output is what you expected or not here. And think carefully about the variable and the module name. Right? These are the program statement to be easy read and use here. So that's all for the module number 2 here. And for the module number 2 also we have you learn some more detail about the software development life cycle here. So basically, for this one, actually you have the another I think it's another class. It is a analysis and design, a system design, right? But anyway, I will go a little bit about the process when you work with a software development lifecycle here, and I have some of the reference here if you want to go in detail. I don't want to go into detail for this one, just on the server only, right? Okay, so basically you learn about the software development lifecycle already. You break it down into the multiple stage, right? You know that the first one you all have to do anything about understanding problem, right? And do the planning. And also we have the number 2 here, if you apply for requirement, anything about, you have to deeply understanding about the problem, right? You define for requirement here, and also figure out what is technical requirement and what is the requirement, and review, and you have to get the approval from the stakeholder here. Otherwise, you have to go back and do it again and again, right? And now you design for the program, you do the development program, you do the testing, and the last thing, you do the deployment and maintenance here, right? So basically, in the software development lifecycle, you have many models. You have many models to do it. Right? One of the traditional one is a waterfall. It's a waterfall here. So what is the waterfall? Waterfall, you work in the sequential order. That means you've done everything with requirement first. After that, you move to the design, and after that, you move to implementation, and after that, you do the verification, and after that, you do with the maintenance. You move to the next step when you're done with the first step. You do it but because of waterfall. You see waterfall here, right? One by one by sequence order here. So basically, this one here, right? This one they work very well in the case the requirement are well understood, right? Because you see, if it's not understood here, you have to go back to the whole system again and do it again and again, right? So basically, they work in the case it work very well in the case the requirement are well understood here, and documentation is very important. You have to be totally understand about the requirement of the program here. Otherwise, you have to go back to do it again and again here, right? Okay. So basically, they work very well in the case of regulatory requirement, auditor, or high safety function here, because the requirement is very specific and very solid here. Okay. Okay. The second one is iterative here. It's a focus on development in the short. Remember with this one here, short cycle and flexibility. So we break it down into multiple sub-module here, and you can test for each of them. Right? How about this one? How about this one? And it's very flexible here. It works very well in the case you need something flexible here, right? Okay, so this one here, it developed in the short cycle iteration here, and make change on the feedback. Think about you develop a game, and you have a lot of the player here, right? Each of them they give you the feedback, and you have to come back to do some modification here. That's the case, right? So this one here, they work very well in the case requirement are flexible, and the close relationship between the developer and stakeholder. You have a lot of interaction. You have a lot of feedback here. Right? So whenever you watch the feedback or interaction, you can do some modification here. Okay? And team, they can be small and can be cross-functional here. Right? So that's why you break it down into multiple iteration here, in the short cycle way. The third one is a continuous. It is extend on iterative development by focusing on rapid feedback loop and the continuous integration and development here. This one, you have a product is a line processing. It already has the product here, right? But you have got a lot of things with the stakeholder here. You need something about rapid feedback loop here, continuous integration, and continuous delivery here. So it works very well in the case of very large project, multiple team, multiple application, and multiple environment. Okay, and for the software lifecycle development and prototyping here, I have some of the reference here. But anyway, I don't want to go into detail here because if you go into detail, you have another class for this one. Right? So basically, for this one, I just want you to expect something about some of the basic module here. The first one is a waterfall. The second one, you have iterative here. And the third one, you have continuity, right? Okay. So now I think the last thing I want to go a little bit about the Python. Right? So you can I know that some of you know about the Python already, but anyway, I just to go over to some of the Python here, right? So in the Python, you can open the idle if you want. So in the Python variable, you know that variable it is a variable. It is a name that represents the storage location. So think about you have variable name X here that means you store something in the slot memory, right? Okay. And in the case of the sorry. So in the case of assignment, right? That's the process here. You have a put X equal to number 10. That means you store number 10 here into the variable name X here. Right? That's the assignment. Or you can put Y equal to X plus 10. That means you have another variable and name of variable is Y here, and you get it out value from X and you plus 10 here from X here. Make sense? It depends. It depends on the value of the X here. And of course, you know that variable they are reusable. Reusable, changeable. And remember that whenever you got the new value, it will override the old value here. Okay? And again, variable they are case sensitive here. Okay? They are case sensitive. So the act here is not the same with act here. Yeah? Okay. Okay, now in the output, you know that process here, right? In the Python. I mentioned it will go over to the module number 1, right? In the module 1, number 1, I will go over a little bit about the Python here. Anyway, I want to go back to show you, right? Module number 1. Okay. Okay. So I mentioned it in the number 1, in the module number 1, right? In the Python, whenever you want to get input from user, you use a function input here, right? The function input here. So remember that whenever you use the function input here, you have to follow some step here. You have to put variable on the left. You have to put the variable on the left because that's the variable you store value. You got it from end user. I think about if I want to get number from end user, I want to store it into the X here. Right? So I have to put X here on the left. Right? I have to put the X on the left. And everything you got from the user, you use the input function here. Right? You use the input function. Right? If you want to get from user, you for sure you need to use the input function. Right? And of course, they recommend you use the from here, right? I think about please enter a number. You use a prompt here. Now, I mentioned it very important thing when you work with the Python here, because whenever you got it from the input function here, it only return in string format. Right? I mentioned it clearly in the module number 1 here. So whenever you got it from the end user in the Python here, with the input function here, it only return in string format. So if you want to do anything with the mathematics about the operation, addition and subtraction and multiplication here, for sure, you need to convert it into the number format. And you have two functions to convert it here. The first one is the int function. Int function that you convert it into the integer format. Right? The second one is the float function. You convert it into the floating point. Right? So basically, you can write this program here. You can write this program into the Python, right? So you see, you can write this program in Python here. That program, right? That program that you write about program about the you want to figure out, right? About for the shop owner here, how many bowl he sold for today, and what is the price for each bowl here. So after that, you figure out what's the revenue here, right? Okay. So that is very simple program. You know that if you want to write in the Python, you can work with idle or pseudocode here, right? So you create a new file, and then to work with the Python part here, right? So first step here, if you want to put some of the header command, you use a hashtag here, right? This program, right? This program. And now, okay, I want to write the program to figure out the area of the rectangle, right? The area, the rectangle. Okay, so this is a header command, right? And of course, in the Python here, whenever you want to use the command, you use the hashtag here, and you know that it only helpful for the programmer only. But when you execute, the computer you ignore it here, right? So now you know that if you want to get, if you want to figure it out, right? If you want to figure out the area of the rectangle, you need two input, right? It's the length and the width here, and it's not the process here. I want to get the length and I store it in the variable length here, right? And I put it here. Now I have input here, that's a keyword, right? And I have this and the length. Yeah, I can do the same. I can do the same with width here. Okay, and input the width. Okay, so I mentioned that whenever you get from the input, it only returns string format. Right? But in order to figure out the area of rectangle, you need to time them together. You need to multiply the length with the width. That in that case, you have to use the arithmetic operation here, right? So for sure, you need to convert them. You need to convert them into the number format here. So if you want to convert in the number format, you can use a float function or you can use the int function here, right? So this one I convert into the float function here. I put everything inside the parentheses. And this one also, I put everything inside parentheses. Okay, so that's the process. I get input from user for the length and the width. I start into variable length and width here. Now I do the assignment. I want to figure out the area here. If you want to do the assignment, you have to put the variable on the left here, right? You want to figure out what the area is here, you have to put it on the left here, area. And you got it from length. Width here. Okay, and the last step in the Python, whenever you want to print it out something, you use the function print, right? You use the function print here. Use the function print. Okay, and of course, here is the text, the area is, right? Put it here. Okay, that's all. So remember, right? Remember when you use a print function here, that is literally the text only. Whatever you put it here is the text, and that is the value of the variable here. Right? So basically, when you execute program here, if you enter the number 20 here, that means you have one variable here, length. You store 20 here, and if you enter the number 10 for the width here, you have another variable width here. Width here, you store number 10. So now you do the assignment here. Area is the length. It point out, take it out the value in the length here, and the width here, it point out, takes the value in the width, and they time them together, and you have another variable here, right? Area. And you have the 200 here. And the last step, the area is, you take it out 200 here and repeat that here. That's all. That's the code you work with the Python here, right? So in the case this one, if you want to save it, you can click the save here, and you save it somewhere. You save it to somewhere. You can put it in the desktop or whatever you want to do, right? So you can click this one, rectangle. Okay, put this one, and now I run it. So we see what happened here. If I enter the number 20 here and the number 10 here, I have the area is 200, right? And if I want to run it again, I have the 15 here and I have 5 here, the area here 75. Okay, so Another thing I want to go over in the Python is that in some case here, right? In some case here, you can use for the output format here, you can use the fstring function in the Python. So fstring here is very helpful in the case you use for the echoing. Yeah, you know that echoing, that means you want to print it out something in the subsequent from or in the output here. I think about in the case here, right? In the case, I got my name here. I got the name and I have the H here and I want to print it out. Hello, my name is, take it out from this one, right? And my H here, take it out from this one. So in the Python, if you want to use the echoing input, one way you can use with the f function here, right? F here. If you use the f function, you have to add at the beginning of the statement, right? And after that, you put it inside the quote mark here. And anytime, if you want to take it out value from variable here, you use a what is it? Bracket or what's the name of the symbol? This one. Curve bracket or what? Right? But that's the way, right? That's the way here. So if you want to use the echoing, if you want to echoing in the Python here, you can use the f string format here, right? F string here, make sure you put the f at the beginning, right? Everything inside that, you put it inside the double comma. But anytime, if you want to take it out, value you store in the variable, you put it inside this one here, right? Okay, so name, what is it? Tusha here. H here, what is it? 23 here, right? But make sure you have to put the F here at the beginning, otherwise you have to see that together, right? And some case also, in some case, right? If you want to print it out a specific number, yeah, decimal place here, think about you have 10 divided by 3 here. Actually, you have 3.3333333 forever, right? Okay, and sometimes you want to take it out only 2 digits in the fractional here. You can do it by specifying about the how many digits in the decimal you want to use here, right? So in that case here, you just for sure you just need 2 digits after in the fractional part, right? Or you can change it to the 3 or 4. It's up to you. That's the way you can do with the format. Right? So basically, in the case of specific number of decimal value, you can put it the answer here, and you can specify how many digits after in the floating point you want it. So everything here I have in my slide, so you can practice with them here. And the other thing here, you can concatenate string and the number, right? So if you want to concatenate them together, string and the number here, right? You can convert number into the string format here by the function string, str here. That means what happened here? Think about I have 1,000 here. So what is it? After I do string scenario here, actually it converts into the string format here. And of course, when you have 2 strings, you can concatenate them together. Make sense? Yeah. If I don't have put it here, for sure I got the syntax error because I cannot add string to the number here, right? But when I convert it to string format here, with string function here, I can concatenate them together. Make sense? Okay. See what you have left. Oh, that's all. So should give you some answer. Okay, so you can let me do the other thing. Or you can take a short break for 5 minutes.